to NifnexTV. NifnexTV is about addressing the small business challenges that business owners face. We've got a fabulous case study here about productivity and technology. We've got a fabulous panel with Brett from Telstra Business Centre, we've got Chee from Expert Messaging, and we've got Douglas Lim from Alyka. Now, technology is supposed to make our life easier in business, so to speak. But what I sort of find is we get emails coming in, we've got social media, and we've got messaging, all those sort of things tends to sort of not be as productive. But we've got Brett here who's going to talk about the devices and this technology that's available on your smartphones and that's synced with PCs as well. That's going to make a life easier in business. We've got Chee who's going to talk about how do you make yourself more productive with technology, and he's also sort of experimented,
guinea pig,
basically experimented using a phone without the smartphone apps to it. So no social media, no emails. So he's going to share with us what his findings were. And we've got the social media guru who's going to tell us how we're going to sort of maximize our time on social media using the phones. So let's hear from the panelists, and we'll welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Pleasure. So if you can just introduce ourselves quickly. I know I've done some introduction, but if you can introduce yourself properly.
Absolutely. Look, my name is Brett Patten. I'm the regional manager for the Telstra Business Centre in Morley and in Telstra Business Centre in Geraldton. I work for a company called the Vita Group. Now, we're a big multinational company based over in Queensland. We hold a master licence for all the Telstra licensed retail stores, and also we have at last count about 16 Telstra Business Centres across Australia. Headquarters is based out of Queensland. I look after the WA and the South Australian arm of the Telstra Business Centres, and our local business specialists from a Telstra licensed store scenario. Also, I'm in charge of our Next Byte business and education consultant. So we're very heavily geared around hardware, and more so really around communications.
It's a big task.
Chee from Expert Messaging. We predominantly deal with email problems in the workplace. Traditionally, we work with the very, very large businesses, the HSBCs, the Kraft, the Cadburys, the big banks. Unfortunately, in recent years, we've started seeing more and more smaller businesses come to us as well with similar problems. So we're just all about teaching people how to be more productive, how to be smarter when they're communicating by emails and other digital means.
Yeah, my name is Douglas Lim, and roughly about 6 years ago I started a web design and online marketing company with two other mates, and we're based in Subiaco. We have clients anywhere from sort of kind of like your small to medium enterprise all the way up until government clients, and we literally help them get a sexy website and then get website traffic to it. So, and then being able to convert that traffic into customers, into leads, and we love doing that to help our clients get to the next level.
Fabulous. So it's a fabulous panel here. So Brett, can we get started with you? What is it? What's available for small business owners from a technology perspective?
Well, our wheelhouse is really around the small business customer. And what we tend to find with small business customers, and there was some fantastic research done by a company called Cameron Research, and what they found is that 75% of small business customers don't want to grow. They're happy to be as they are. They sit. They're passionate professionals. You know, they've accidentally fallen into being a business owner and an operator. The 25% that do want to grow, they seem to be wanting to grow quite quickly and quite fast. But there's one main focus across all business owners, and certainly CEOs and managers, and it's got to do with an old phrase that says a business owner is always tethered to a distant post, which means you can never get away from the business, never get away from it. Time management's always an issue. Some of the other more predominant issues around small businesses, cash flow, staffing, just the worry of the day-to-day operations. What I'm talking to about today is a product called Office 365. It's a cloud-based product. We hear the word cloud bandied around quite often, and everyone gets a little bit scared about the cloud product, but it is the way forward. Telstra certainly have invested a lot of money into developing cloud and the go-to-market with Office 365. It's a Microsoft product, and what it actually does for small business is the most important thing. It frees you up. So Office 365, it's device agnostic. It can be operating on a desktop, smart mobile device or a tablet, and you can take it wherever you go. So you can be out in the country, you can be back at the office, and it actually works the same as you'd be in front of your actual PC. And what it does, mirror to things, it's a Microsoft Office 365, or Microsoft platform I should say, so you have all the benefits of a great big product and company like Microsoft. But more so, it just gives you that flexibility to be able to be on the go and know that everything's in real time. You can share data with your staff, you can share calendars, you can share emails, and it's a really, really wonderful product.
So is that replacing Outlook and Gmail, or...?
It's not replacing, it's sort of complementing. So Office 365, like I said, it's an operational expense to your business, as opposed to buying Microsoft Office straight up, so it's a CapEx. This is an ongoing expense that probably runs a little bit better for small businesses. They don't want to outlay all this money straight up front for such technology, so they can spread it out over the 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and it just seems to work better for them because they do have that flexibility to work from anywhere with this Office 365 product.
Well, it poses a problem for Chee. How do you manage?
Look, I guess our problems, or our clients' problems, is that they can take their business with them everywhere. They can be doing work while they're on holidays. They can be doing work while they're sitting on the beach. But should they? So that's really the answer. That's really the problems that we're sort of tackling these days. Because we can do all these things that we never used to be able to do, should we? Is it good for productivity? And a lot of the times we're finding it that maybe not so. Our productivity in the past may not have been all that bad before mobile technology came along. Not saying that you should abandon your mobile phones and your iPad, but definitely if we use it a little bit smarter, that's where the real efficiency comes in. What I found in the last 3 months was that, doing a little bit of an experiment, was that because we can do all these things on the go, we tend to just wing it a little bit more than what we used to. Before I got a mobile phone, before I had the iPad, I was a little bit more structured. I spent 15 minutes looking at my calendar every morning to see what appointments I had. I printed out the sheets to say, and the map to tell me where I was going at 2 o'clock, where I was going at 4 o'clock. When I picked up the mobile phone and it all got it synced up with Office 365, and I'm a big fan of Office 365, don't get me wrong, I stopped doing that. I just started driving while I was eating my lunch on the way to my appointments, and I just got into this rut where everything was mad, rush, because I could rely on my GPS and my smartphone to get me out of trouble, and that forced me into a really ad hoc sort of chaotic working sort of lifestyle. And what I found is that in the last 3 months, I've taken social media off my phone, I've taken the email capabilities off my phone, sort of gone back a little bit in time, technology-wise, and I'm a lot more structured. In terms of my headspace, I'm a lot more calmer. I can plan and strategize a lot better. I'm not winging it so much, which is resulting in much better productivity, and definitely I'm getting more done for probably the same amount of time. I'm not saying that it's perfect for everyone. I know some people don't get a chance to get back to the office once or twice a day to check their emails, to sort of settle and replan. But yeah, for those people that have that opportunity, it definitely does make a difference to think about, just because we can, should we?
Now, though, my life would be a chaos.
I know you never get back to the office.
So again, I guess social media is a huge problem with your smartphones. So how do you use your smartphone and social media?
Yeah. Well, I'm the complete opposite to Chee. I've got all my apps on my phone. I find, especially with my clients, with social media, it's just many forms of communication now, like being able to connect with me. So, for example, a lot of my mates that are Gen Ys, believe it or not, they will not pick up a phone call, they will not reply to a text message, but you Facebook them, they will reply within 1 minute. So that's why I have my Facebook messaging on my phone. Likewise, I've got people that I connect with all around the world. Twitter is the best way that they connect with me, because it's like short, sharp, sweet. And then, funny story, like I was trying to organise a meeting with a potential client. I called him, called his office, left a message. He called me, but I was out. And we played a bit of telephone tennis, and it was going over about 2 to 3 days. Eventually, I just gave up and I sent him a message on LinkedIn. I get a reply within 2 minutes, and now we're meeting up next week because of LinkedIn. So it's just multiple ways of connecting with people. In my line of field, I can't shut that off purely because I don't want to stop those clients and those contacts from contacting me, because I also get a lot of leads from LinkedIn. But then the other thing as well, though, is what Chee mentioned, which is very important. It does start with your mental side of things. Like, I have to be very disciplined. So things I don't do is check my social media the first thing I get up in the morning, and nor do I do it the last thing before I go to bed, because you don't want to start your day looking at something negative potentially, or going to bed thinking of something negative potentially. So it's a bit of a balance, I find, but I do have all my apps on my phone, on my iPad, but I've had to discipline myself. And if you can't do that, then I would recommend Chee's method. Just remove it. Because it does take, if you were to track your time, you'd find you'd spend heaps of time on social media, a lot of time.
There's probably no right or wrong, but I tend to use Facebook a little bit, just a tiny bit. So I tend to put something up in the morning, interesting or whatnot, and that's my sort of time away from my daily grind, for example. Although I enjoy my meetings and everything else, but in between my meetings I'm responding to the comments or the likes or whatnot. Yeah. So that's what I use as my distraction away, rather than being serious about work the whole time.
Yep. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't use it, but maybe use it in a more strategic sort of manner. What do we find? A lot of our clients let the device and let the messages coming in drive their habits and drive their behaviour. What I'm saying is, great, use it, but maybe set aside 5 minutes every hour to check it, as opposed to just check it every time you hear that little beep go off. That's the best way to destroy an hour or two of your productivity each day. We find that interruptions is one of the biggest killer of productivity in the workplace today. Yeah.
So, great point though, Chee. In regards to Office 365, when the emails obviously are synced and the emails come in, how would you suggest you manage that from technology perspective?
Well, for me, look, I love technology, and I love having the ability to have technology at my fingertips. I'm on the road a lot. I'm doing a lot of role-ons, a lot of coaching, a lot of travelling with my role. So it really does work well for me, primarily because I get access anytime. It's real-life data, it's shared data. I can check my staff's calendar, I can see what they're doing any given time, any given day. You can make changes on my way here to this very session. I was setting up calendar appointments and responding to emails, etc. So for me, look, it buys me time back in my day, because I don't want to go home, clock up at 5 o'clock, get home, I've got 3 young kids, and have to take time away from the family to catch up on any paperwork or any administration. So look, it works really well for my lifestyle, and like I said, that tethered to a distant post for a lot of business owners and business managers is that time management's a really key component of what they're trying to get back in their day. Get some hours back, spend it with the family. With technology, and certainly with Office 365, it allows you to do that.
And is it something that you just download on
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So it's by user. So you might have a small business, 1, 2, 3 employees, or you can go all the way up to 250, 500 plus staff. Is add as user, so 1 user, 2 user, 3 user. Very nominal price. You know what you're going to be paying each month. It's as cheap as about $13 a month to get access to all the Microsoft Office suites. Also, there's some great features on there like instant messaging, video collaboration, so you can sit there on your PC and do video conferencing with all your other staff. So some really neat features that are incorporated through Office 365.
And all those features for the $13-something?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And don't forget the 1 terabyte of hard drive space you get in the cloud. I just moved to that recently, and basically I'm never going to use 1 terabyte essentially. I can ditch all my other hard drives,
So I'll put that to you, Chee. What do you like about the Office 365?
Well, I just love it for the fact that you don't have to pay a big upfront fee. Like when you get your computer, normally you think about $300 to $600 of office, plus your other bits and pieces. Now it's all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that money that you
$13
save,
a month.
that money you save up front can go to better working and running the business.
Plus, I don't have to worry about licenses and upgrades. If my computer ever screwed up, I need to format it. I'm looking for the product code and all that sort of stuff. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about
Customer
backup.
testimonial, right here.
I've been using it for about 8 years.
Fantastic.
I love it.
And
And not because I work for Telstra or Microsoft.
You're an embracer of technology, which is great.
I love technology, but using it in a most appropriate, sensible way. Yeah.
Get time back in the day. That's why I like to get time back in the day.
Absolutely.
Doug's point of view, you got Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot, Pinterest.
Yep.
I don't use all of them, but do you?
Look, I've got them on my phone, but the ones I do use are definitely LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm seeing a huge movement in Instagram, like in terms of getting fans, in terms of getting potential clients. I'm just finding Instagram is a high engagement.
So, on that engagement level,
Yep.
a lot of the small business owners are working by themselves. They're obviously sort of trying to manage their social media themselves and emails and everything else. So there's a comment that's made, for example, how soon are you meant to be replying to that comment on Facebook or LinkedIn or even Twitter, for example?
Yep.
Is there an acceptable time frame?
I personally don't think there's a certain time frame that you need to reply to. I think it's just good etiquette, similar to an email. Like if it's important, I like to try and reply within 24 hours. If it's not urgent, probably closer to 48 hours. But I don't reply straight away. Unless it's urgent. So I tend to do it.
Check it straight away?
No. I'll check, if I'm working in the office, I'll check once in the morning, lunchtime, afternoon, 3 times during the office time.
Okay.
When I'm outside at night, probably a bit quicker than that. Maybe I don't actually open my phone and check it. It's just if it does pop up, I do have a look at it at night. But that's because I'm constantly connecting with people all around the world, and I kind of enjoy that sort of stuff because I've got things in motion, things in place. But I don't think there's a hard and fast rule on when to reply.
And do you use vlog a little bit, like the video log, like a blog?
I do. I have a YouTube channel, by the way, everyone. Up to 1,500 subscribers. But that's more me kind of demonstrating marketing ideas, especially social media and SEO. But I am going to start a vlog. Just me and my iPhone. It's big business, YouTube, at the moment.
It is.
Massive business.
NifnexTV is as well, but...
Yeah. And NifnexTV, absolutely.
I'm interested to hear Doug's thoughts about psychology behind social media. Why does it play such an important and prevalent part in our lives now, particularly Generation Y? And as we see, even the oldies are getting sort of a handle on a lot of the social media now.
Yeah, I think it's just the culture. Like back when I grew up as a kid, you'd write emails, you'd have the old landlines, no mobiles, and you'd write a good old-fashioned letter. But now Gen Ys, Gen X's, as they're going up, they've got instant access to be able to connect with different people. Snapchat's another one that I'm on that I find is quite common to get to my friends. But I think it's
kids.
It's good. I mean, I think it's just the immediate gratification. Like, you get an instant reply. You get to be able to also a bit of showcasing a bit about yourself. Like a bit of voyeurism. You get out there and say, "Hey, look at me," sort of thing. So I think the culture has changed a lot. But then what I've found with the young guys is their people skills have dropped dramatically because they're all keyboard junkies. So when I meet someone that's young, the conversation is a lot different to, say, conversing with Chee, yourself, Brett, and Zishan. You don't get that deep, meaningful conversation anymore. That's what I found.
Yeah, just shit.
Yeah, what do you guys reckon? What do you
think
about
that? Behaviour and psychology, what you guys might want to just take note of next time you switch on Facebook is that there's a lot of psychology and research that's gone into how they develop their software, and one of the things that they want to do is for you obviously to keep going back to using Facebook, right? The more hours and the more minutes that you spend on Facebook, the more advertising they can sell.
Yeah.
That's their business model, right?
Yep.
And a lot of the psychologists that they employ spend a lot of time working out how to do that. And one of the ways that they do it is to try to get you to establish and progress your habits. Well, habits is a nice word for addiction. Okay, so one of the things that I studied up earlier in the year was the way they do that, and one of the biggest ways they do that is to make it very hard for you to switch off their alerts. You would have no doubt realised that you get an email for just or SMS for every single time your friend does a post or you've been tagged in a photo or whatever not. So triggers is one of the main mechanisms that they get you to keep going back to the site. And for your interest, the bunch of very strong and powerful people, and Facebook included, all met together in somewhere in the US, I can't remember, earlier this year, at a place called the Habit Summit 2014 to talk about the good and bad and how to make their product a little bit more addictive. So it's all out there.
It's our generation's tobacco, isn't it? That's what
it is, absolutely. So that's why we're all about, not using the technology willy-nilly. Just really take control of how you use it as opposed to let the technology drive you. If you don't take control of it, Facebook psychologists will take control of it for you, yeah.
Is there anything that you want to, tips-wise, you want to add before we go the Q&A? I'm sure people have a few questions about social media and productivity.
Yeah, well, I'll start off. Just on what Chee said, it's a very good point. Like, I turn off all my notifications, like Twitter. I turn off my direct messaging because it's usually spam. Usually it's something like, thanks for following, blah, blah, blah. So I'm very particular about what comes through my phone. So I actually spend the time to do that. And I think that's a very good point that Chee made.
So can I ask you the quick question there? When someone's connected with you on LinkedIn and or you send a request and they accepted it, how important is it to message back? Because you get so many LinkedIn requests. So is it easy to sort of, thanks for connecting? It's not important anymore?
Well, I personally don't, because I think if you do that every single time, it all adds up. Yeah. I usually only message someone if I want to catch up with them for a coffee.
Okay.
Hence, we haven't had a coffee yet.
Yeah. It's good old-fashioned, mate. Just through the phone. Yeah.
Or Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you have a tip, Chee?
Yeah, similar to Doug, as I mentioned already, those alerts are a very, very powerful thing that the product designers, with all the social media software and Outlook and Gmail, they all have it as well. The desktop alerts that Gmail has introduced in recent years, switch them all off. It's very, very, very bad for your productivity and very bad for addiction as well.
Would you turn off your notifications on email, Office 365?
Not Office 365 per se, but a lot of the social media stuff I do. We've got about 9, 10, 11 people in the viewing us today. I can say they're all dressed in business attire, so they'll all be business people by their own right. So they can just step outside right now and look at exactly what's happening day to day, what's happening with their staff, keep abreast across any emails that are coming through from customers or any orders. So embrace technology, don't run away from it. Certainly be socially aware of some of the more, insular habits of being too addicted to social media. But certainly around Office 365 for a business product, it does give you time back in your day, and that's what I love about it.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen? James has put his hand up straight away.
Not so much a question, more an observation, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, is the way there seems to be a general dumbing down, especially of language.
Yeah.
You look at, especially on Twitter, and Facebook, the level of illiteracy is just staggering. Because people are shortening stuff, and it's becoming the norm.
Yeah.
And
it's funny you should say that.
I might be old-fashioned, but
no, I like that too. I have every Wednesday over the last number of years when I met my wife, we used to have a dinner with her grandparents, and they were 98 and 89. And the conversation and the language used around that dinner table, as opposed to the language that were used sort of with the cousins and the nieces and nephews on that table as well, was just worlds apart. And we are seeing a shortening and a change in language, English language, and you can note that because the dictionaries are being changed with a lot of these style of shortening of languages. How do we get away from that? I don't know. I mean, Doug's probably more the expert on talking to that, because we do shorten everything down just to get messages out quite quickly.
Yep. I don't think there's a hard and fast way to fix it, but it's a very, very good point. And unfortunately, it's just the way the world's coming to, isn't it? Everything's dumbed down.
James, in terms of from an organisational perspective, it's probably hard to say what's right and what's wrong, but for a CEO or for a manager of a business, what's really important in terms of productivity is to normalise all that, to make sure you don't get too many different extremes. You get the people that are really short and sharp, and then you get the people that used to, write emails and SMSs like the way they used to write letter, where you have such a vast difference in different styles and behaviours. That's where unproductivity happens. Yeah, to try to normalise that into a sort of workplace that gels better together. That's kind of important.
What bothers me is from an employment perspective.
Yeah.
If I'm employing people who can't write, can't communicate, it creates an impression with my clients. Okay, and consequently, I'd rather employ older people.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
I think it's heading that way.
Look, it is, absolutely. I'm in favour of that, the more mature candidate. I employ a lot of staff. One of the first things I do when I research staff who are applying for a job is look at their social media. Look what they've posted, look what they're doing. Absolutely, and you can see, and when Facebook first came in, there was a lot of instances where employees were on Facebook saying sort of derogatory things about their boss at that time, and that was getting fed back. So you've got to be very careful with social media. But absolutely, I mean, it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword. And me and the rest of us as business managers and employees look to the social media to see what our new staff are doing.
Someone said the other day, after the FIFA World Cup, said put it on Facebook saying, "I hope my boss doesn't find out that I'm calling sick," because and putting it on social media, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. So Karen, I think you had a question there.
Yes, I was also thinking about another double-edged sword, and we haven't touched upon that, but talking about newsletters, because it's a constant stream of information that you kind of ask for, but not really, but kind of. And it's quite an overwhelming amount that comes in, so a lot of people are obviously unsubscribing. So I was just wondering if you had any thoughts or ideas on how to deal with, because it's both from the entrepreneur's point of view and also the reader's point of view. What do you recommend people to do?
We had that topic addressed in the last NifnexTV session, but I'll let you answer it.
I think I was on that panel essentially, unsubscribe if you don't take action within 7 days. That's normally the golden rule that we teach our clients. If you don't take action, that's the key thing to remember. Not if it's not interesting or not useful, but if you don't take any action consistently within 7 days, then scrap it. That's one of the things that we've found out.
And from just a marketing perspective, I always like to have a double opt-in for my newsletters. So that means that someone that's subscribed to your newsletter will then get an email saying, please confirm, and then once they've confirmed, then they're subscribed. So I find a lot of marketers just do the single opt-in, but then if you do a double opt-in, it means they really want to be on it, so you get a high engagement rate. And then in terms of posting from a marketing viewpoint, always soft sell approach. Same as social media, soft sell. So, I've seen too many businesses do the hard sell, look at the discount, look at the discount, look at the discount that I'm offering, rather than providing value. Just give value, like, here's a tip, here's another tip, here's another tip. Then boom, soft sell approach. Here's something that we're helping to help you achieve those goals and dreams that your business has. So, yeah.
Recently I ran a campaign on Facebook and got some really good high-level opt-ins around at 3%.
Great.
Went through my website, gave me a name, address, and phone number.
Yep, fantastic.
And I rang them back straight away because I've got it on the phone, got the little app on the phone. So
Productivity.
I ring them. More than half of them are absolutely horrified that I actually called them in such a short time frame. I don't know if they're shocked and horrified, or just so pleased. I didn't actually ask them. But it's a great, I mean, I'm in sales, so, you know, someone gives me their phone number, I'm going to ring them. That's what I do next to it. But it was really surprising to me that the number of people are absolutely horrified that they even got a phone call. It was just such a big surprise, and it's one of the biggest things. I learned that from Salesforce quite a few years ago. I opted in and signed up for Salesforce, and I nearly fell out of a car when the phone rang about 20 minutes later. The guys from Salesforce rang me.
Yeah.
They said, "Welcome, here I am. I'm your consultant. I can help you." So I think there's a lot missing nowadays with people relying on, you know, just opt in. Okay, I'll send you an email, etc. There's a lot of money being missed in that gap. But just making comments because it seemed really surprising to me that not enough people actually pick up the bloody phone.
Just to touch on that, the psychology behind that is that us humans, we build relationships much faster face to face and even over the phone compared to on SMSs and social media and on emails. So that's one of the things in sales and marketing. If you ever want to build a relationship, the face-to-face way still outranks the sending messages by a long shot. Yeah.
I would probably try to make the phone number optional because a lot of people don't like being called, so to speak. So we had those options. We had about 6 different fields, and the subscriptions started going up as we reduced those fields or try to make them more optional. So we get a lot more subscriptions now, considering we just ask the first name, last name, and email address. But yeah. So James, I think you had a...
I just find it's interesting that it's almost like with all this stuff that's going on social media and web pages and what have you, that people want to do business, but they don't actually want to talk to people. You know, and I find I just can't do business like that. I'm a social beast, I think most of us are. And I just find it surprising that we want to do business, but we don't want to actually talk to people. We just want to do it.
Absolutely. From a telco,
an arm's length distance.
From a telco viewpoint, there is more SMSs being sent out than there are calls being made. I mean, that's just the way that we're going. We want to be able to have an easy way just to say good news or bad news, more so bad news. How often would you pick a phone up and say bad news now? Very rarely people do that. They'll prefer to send a text message, a Facebook, Instagram message. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Or a Snapchat.
Yeah, absolutely. But just on what James said, like in terms of, you know, especially in sales, like I always just use social media to get the appointment because sales one-on-one is always book the appointment. Now it's just, it used to be just phone. Now I use LinkedIn, I use Facebook, whatever way I can get to book an appointment with that person.
Just on that point,
yep.
How do you use LinkedIn?
Yep. I literally send them a message saying, hey, saw your profile, great to connect with you. Are you free to catch up for a coffee next week? And 99% of the time I get a yes, because it's the way I write it, it's very friendly and very inviting.
So I've done that a few times, but what I've done is actually found out where the company is, physically called them, said, hi, don't know if you're aware of it, but we're connected on LinkedIn. I'll make it a policy of mine to get to know people I'm connected to.
Yep.
Can we catch up for coffee?
Yep.
And anyone say no.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's another great process to follow. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Conrad.
Great.
Don't make it too
No. Telecommunications, I'm very passionate about them. I see it as the new revolution with the way that we communicate and store data. I was in Melbourne recently and I managed to talk to somebody who gave me some insight as to the path Telstra is taking in relation to some of its infrastructure. And I noticed they have done some testing about using analog bandwidth to transmit Wi-Fi signals. How far away are we from seeing that being used? Because from what I'm led to believe, it's about 4 to 5 times faster than what the NBN would be rolled out at.
Yeah, look, the wonderful thing about Telstra is they do pump a lot of money back into their research and development. I mean, more so than any of the other competitors in the Australia telco space at the moment. What I love about telco as well, it's so dynamic. Things change all the time. We see Telstra, we've sold off Telstra's all infrastructure to the NBN company now. The NBN is a great tool for retail, or residential I should say. Telstra, when Solomon Trahir was the CEO of the company, we invested heavily in our 4G network, to the point now where it is going gangbusters, but there will come a point where that'll become congested and we need to move away, whether it's frequency or other technologies. It's very hard for me to sort of predict how far away we are going to be for the next big technology to come in, because it just is so fast moving. So why don't I get your card? I'll call you back. But it's great. I mean, it's great that we have people who are invested and really excited about telecommunications technology, because it really, for me, like I said, it makes your life easier. It makes accessibility to people easier, and you know, fundamentally, without sort of the technology, Doug's business wouldn't operate, and also everyone in this room's business wouldn't operate.
Yep. Very true.
There you go. Do you have any more questions? No? Well, thank you, panelists. It's been a pleasure talking. I think it's been a very interesting case study. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.